Okay, I think I'm live. I think everything's working. Guys, if you can see and hear me, please let me know in the chat if things are working like they should be. You might be seeing an ad right now. Let's see. All right, am I live? Can you guys see me? I'm still figuring out how technology works, so please pardon like a little bit of hesitance just yet to make sure everything's working. Ah, excellent. It looks like I am live and everything is working just as it should be. All right, so this is only my second ever live stream. I am a one-woman show, so please be gentle on me. But there are a couple things that I wanted to talk about today just because I've been getting a lot of questions about them, and I may even try to do a little screen share at the same time. I'm not entirely sure it's going to work, but we're going to give it a try, and if it doesn't, I can still just talk you all through it. So I mean, thank you guys for coming out. It looks like there are like 60 people here already, which is awesome, and I'm really happy about that. And I want to just say first that I really continue to appreciate all the support that you all have given me. It's been wonderful. I really enjoy all the interactions that we're able to have online and the discussions that take place there. I don't always respond to everyone because I don't always see everything, but it's really, you guys have made Twitter fun for me again. It's Twitter sucked for like a long time, and then it became fun again, and so I'm really happy about that. But I just wanted to take some time to really share more about my journey because I've gotten a lot of questions about it, and I've also had a lot of people say like, "Oh, it seems like you red pilled very quickly. You red pilled in record time." Well, no, that's not exactly how it worked. It just kind of seems like that when you're kind of like watching it in the way that you all have been watching it, but it has been a much more drawn out process. So if you have any questions along the way, please go ahead and chat them in. Also, like if you chat in via super chat, I'm much more likely to actually see it. A lot of you have asked how you can support me. I do not have a subscribe star set up yet. And the reason for that, okay, I'm about to sound really silly. And I know I'm about to sound really silly, and you're just gonna have to bear with me because I'm a little bit woo-woo. Listen, you're gonna have to know, you're going to discover this about me at some point. I am a very woo-woo person. And the reality is that Mercury has been in retrograde up until like yesterday. Now, what does Mercury retrograde mean for people like me who believe in this stuff? It means you don't launch new things because the things that you launch will inevitably lead to a horrible demise. And so I have not yet launched my subscribe star. I'm thinking about it. I'm figuring it out now that Mercury is out of retrograde, but you're not supposed to make decisions during Mercury retrograde, which is why I haven't. And listen, I don't ever want to pressure people into supporting me. If you want to, that's fine. If you don't want to, that's fine too. But right now, the best way to do it is from super chat. Oh my gosh! Yay, Sean! Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. All right, but we didn't come here for that. Listen, I wanted to tell you more about my journey and talk about the process that's taken place because one of the biggest questions, or the most frequent questions rather, that I've received is, why the heck were you a Democrat in the first place, Carlin? Like, how did you get involved with the Democratic Party? Well, so first of all, we have to back up here. We have to go back to the 1990s. And you know, I was born in the 80s. I mean, I'm about to turn 39 in about a month. And so I'm God, like I'm almost middle-aged. I don't want to admit it, but we're getting there. So, I mean, I had my early years in the 80s, but I don't really remember the 80s. What I remember is the 1990s. And the things that I remember about the Republican Party is, yeah, Mike says Mercury retrograde. That explains why I'm a Democrat. Yeah, I mean, not really. Like, actually, like, stick a pin in that one, Mike. We're going to talk about that. I hadn't thought about that, but we're going to talk about that after I say my story. So, the thing that you need to remember about the Republicans in the 1990s is that this was my impression, my teenage, middle school, high school impression of Republicans. Is they wanted to tell me what to wear. They wanted to tell me what to believe, like what religion to be a part of. They wanted to tell me what video games I couldn't play. They wanted to tell me what movies I couldn't go to. They wanted to legislate their religious values. I lived in Vermont. I grew up in Vermont, and Vermont was the very first country to pass civil unions, which is like the precursor to gay marriage. I was so proud of Vermont for doing that. And so that was really the thing for me that cemented me being a part of the Democratic Party. It was like at that time, they were the party of freedom. They were the party of free speech. They were the party that was protecting my right as, a teenager at that time. I couldn't even vote yet. But also, getting out of high school, going to college, they were the ones that were standing up for the things that I believed in. Because, thank you, Michael, for the super chat. I really appreciate it. They were the ones that were protecting the things that I cared about most. Because, listen, I'm still a liberal. That has not changed. And I know a lot of people are calling me a classical liberal now, and I guess that's probably true by the current definitions that we're using today, but I refuse. I absolutely refuse to allow the crazy progressive social justice left to take the word liberal away from me, because my values have not changed. Now, one of the things, and I think I talked about this in my CPAC article, if anyone read that, but I bet you most of you didn't, so I'll just do a little refresher. I still have my liberal values. I still believe that we should reform healthcare to make sure more people are covered, to make sure, I was always very grateful for when I first started my business that we had Obamacare as an option, because I was a small business owner. I was all by myself. I wasn't providing myself benefits, obviously. My husband worked for a company that did not provide benefits. So I was always very grateful for Obamacare, that we had that safety net. So I do believe in healthcare reform. I believe in immigration reform. I believe in protecting the dreamers. I don't believe in the death penalty. I don't think it's a good idea. And there are so many other things that I believe in the legalization of marijuana. There are so many things that I believe in that are still in that vein. But the most important value that I have always held, and this is back to the time when I was a teenager, was free speech, free expression. I actually used to think that I was going to go to college and then go to law school and then go work for the ACLU to fight for the right to free speech, fight for the First Amendment. And now they don't even do that anymore. And so this is a whole other thing. But those are my core values. That is the thing that I believe in most. If you really want to make me mad, try telling me what I can't say. You ask my husband how that works out. And so that was always the core value that drew me to the party that I perceived to be protecting that value. And then I went to college, and I was in college when 9/11 happened. I still actually remember. I think a lot of people remember where they were on 9/11, but I remember specifically I was in my dorm room, and I was supposed to have lunch with a friend who worked at New England Cable News, and he had to cancel it, and he sent me this message saying, "You'll know why I'm canceling this." And then I turned on my TV and I saw it. And then so I was also in college when we went to war with Iraq. And George W. Bush, man, I hated George W. Bush with the fury of 1,000 suns because I did not agree with the war in Iraq and, at all. I thought it was stupid. Jen, thank you so much for the super chat. Jen says, "Thank you for your voice. The rationality is sorely needed. And I don't care if you vote for Trump." Thank you. We'll talk about that. So I was in college in the war in Iraq. Bush was president. I hated him. I now have come to, I think W's interesting, isn't he? Because I think that he's gone through his own evolution since he left office. And I truly appreciate that reflection that he's gone through now. And of course, he looks normal to me now after kind of the insanity of the past couple years. I'm like, man, W wasn't such a bad dude, was he? So that kind of cemented my relationship with the Democratic Party. Now, who here remembers MySpace? Do we have any old school MySpace users in the house? Anyone? And I'm talking MySpace before Facebook was publicly available. because MySpace was the thing. MySpace was like the jam in the early, what was it, like early 2000s? 2002, 2003. Yeah. So the thing of it is like MySpace had a really powerful blogging platform. People don't remember this about MySpace. They remember the stupid profiles with the music and all that stuff, but they actually had a really powerful blogging platform. And so I actually blogged a lot about politics on MySpace. My handle was Crazy Liberal back then, and so I blogged a lot about how much I hated W and all this stuff, and I was getting like 25,000 views a day just on my MySpace blog. It was absolutely nuts. And so that kind of that I was fighting with Republicans like all the time on MySpace, and it was fun for me. Listen, I love a good debate. I love the sport of a good political debate. And so I was like really, really into this stuff. And again, that only cemented me with the Democratic Party even more. Okay, so we've gone through now this series where all of my experiences around politics only reinforced to me that the Democratic Party was the right way to go. Now, I started to grow up, and my MySpace stopped being a thing, and I stopped writing and thinking about politics all the time, and I just focused on my career, probably for the next like 10 years or so, 10, maybe even close to 15 years, something like that. So in the intervening years, I went to graduate school and got my MBA. I was really focused on my career. I was focused on building a name for myself in my industry. I was presenting at a lot of conferences. I got really busy. I eventually, decided after my MBA to go back to school again and do my doctorate. So now I'm trying to work full time, do my doctorate part time. I got married at some point. I bought a home. And I tell you all this stuff to provide context for the fact that I really just wasn't paying as much attention to politics. Like, Obama was in office. I was happy that Obama was in office. I was like overjoyed at that. I was overjoyed when he got reelected, but I really just was not paying close attention to all the things that were going on in those intervening years. And then 2016 comes along, and I'm trying to build my business. I was writing a book. I was all building another small business at the same time. I was traveling a lot for work, and I wrote in my original article that MSNBC was on in my house all the time. That was very true, but I wasn't fact checking what MSNBC was telling me. I wasn't going and doing my own research. I was just kind of had it on in the background while I was doing other work at the same time. And so I felt like, and listen, I was shocked when Trump got elected. I really was. I was absolutely shocked when Trump got elected. And that was, to me, like, I was really worried about a lot of things. I was worried primarily about the economy. But at the same time, oh, thank you, Mark. I really appreciate the super chat. At the same time, I was also just so focused on other things and building my business that I still just wasn't paying attention. So what got me to start to wake up? And it was partially the stuff in the knitting community. I've talked a lot about the knitting wars in other articles. If you want to know more about the knitting wars, check out Unsafe Space, their YouTube channel. They've covered the knitting wars an awful lot. I also am planning on doing a series of videos about the knitting wars because trust me, folks, it's crazier than you have any idea. It really, really is. It was partially that, but the other thing was that I spent about 10 years of my career working in higher education. That was what I did. I worked at colleges. I worked for colleges and universities, and I also worked for vendors that supported colleges and universities. And so almost my entire friend circle were the people I was close with anyway, worked in higher education. Now, where is all the social justice crazy sitting? It's in higher education. That's like, higher education is like the epicenter of all of this craziness. And so what started happening was I was like witnessing people that I had known for 10 years suddenly become pod people. suddenly just regurgitating these social justice things over and over and over again. And I so remember the day that it really took hold for me. It's like I was just messing around on Facebook and I saw all these posts from all my friends that worked at these colleges basically telling white people to shut up. And I have taught for years, since 2014, I have taught people how to engage people in conversations that will change their mind. That has been a very consistent theme that I've talked about in relation to my work. I talk about and there's some stuff about this available on my YouTube channel. I'm not going to completely rehash it, but I've talked about the fact that when you want to change someone's mind, you have to appeal to their emotions. It is about their emotions first. If you don't appeal to people emotionally, then you are not going to be able to access the part of the brain that is ultimately going to make those decisions. You can actually appeal to fear first, but if you don't want to be a raging fearmonger, then you approach their emotions. And so I started kind of responding on some of the posts I was seeing on Facebook of my friends telling white people to shut up, going, listen, if you want white people to join the team, telling them to shut up is not the way to do it, because you need to engage people in conversation. Thank you, Michelle, for the super chat. I really appreciate it. So I was trying to explain to my friends, like, telling people to shut up is not the answer that you're looking for. It is not the answer at all. And they just didn't want to hear it. They were like, Carlin, then you need to shut up. You need to shut up more than anyone else. These people that I had been friends with for so long, and I had these amazing conversations with, and they used to be reasonable people, and then all of a sudden they were acting like pod people. And I was like, what in the heck is going on? Like, what happened to my friends? Honestly, like, this was like a traumatic thing for me. I'm not making this up. I know, like, at least some people in the chat think I'm a grifter. Like, I'm not making this up. This was like a traumatic revelation that these people that I thought were just like reasonable human beings had suddenly seemed to lose their ever loving minds. It was crazy. And so I started trying, between that and all of the nonsense that was going on in the knitting community, I really started to try to understand what was going on culturally. That was my wake-up call, was the social justice nonsense. And so the more I started to understand, and again, if you have not found Unsafe Space on YouTube, go subscribe to Unsafe Space right now. It's unsafespace.com. It'll go right to their YouTube channel. Go subscribe right now. Oh my gosh, thank you, Robin. I appreciate the super chat. So they really helped me. The reason, and I plug Unsafe Space all the time, and I swear they don't pay me to do this. They don't even ask me to do this. But Unsafe Space has just helped me so much to really understand the social justice ideology and how it shows up in culture and how it's showing up everywhere. And once I started watching their videos, I was like, oh, here's what's happening. And then for me, it was about a process of kind of trying to figure out which ones of my friends were just they had completely lost themselves to that ideology, and which ones were that were worth keeping around. Now, all of this was happening over the summer, I think, and into the fall. Now, okay, I'm gonna try to share my screen. I'm gonna see if this works, because I want to show you guys something. Okay, let's see. The reason I want to do this is I'm really tired of people calling me a grifter. Oh, yay! It looks like it's up. Yay. Okay, so what we're seeing here, and I want to just provide some evidence that I really was a Democrat, man. I didn't get a chance to edit it in time, but I actually have receipts from Act Blue, which is, if you don't know what Act Blue is, it's like the Democratic fundraising thing. I have receipts of donations I made to Bernie Sanders in 2016. I also have receipts that I made to seven of the Democratic contenders in the 2020 cycle. I donated to Bernie, as soon as he announced. I donated to Marianne Williamson to keep her in the debate. Thank you, Stuart, for the super chat. I really appreciate it. I donated to Steve Bullock because I was doing like a trade with a friend who was supporting Bullock, and I was like, I'll give to Bullock if you give to Marianne Williamson, and to get their numbers up for the debate. I donated to Beto. I donated a lot of money to Beto when he first launched because I hadn't yet realized Beto was crazy. I donated to Pete Buttigieg, obviously. I donated to Cory Booker after he had that good debate performance because I wanted to see him in the next debate, and I donated to Tulsi to keep her in the debate. So I've donated to 7 Democratic candidates in this election cycle, and I have the receipts to prove it. But I don't have those for you today. What I do have, though, is my Instagram. And I just want to show you, listen, Buttigieg hat. What date is this? August 12th. This is me first starting to get into Buttigieg. You're going to see some other stuff here too, that like my dog in a birthday hat, some knitting stuff, some more pictures of my dogs, whatever. All right, so here I am with Pete Buttigieg at one of his campaign events in August 23rd, 2019. There's another photo to prove I'm not a secret Republican. I never was. This is me in a parade that I marched in with Pete Buttigieg's campaign, and Chasten was there, and you can see like all these Buttigieg people. Yeah, I'm like a covert Republican right there with my neon shawl. Don't you know? Like, come on. Let's see, a dog. There's everyone that marched in the parade. There's Chasten right there in the background. No, there's Chasten again. So yeah, this was what I did on Memorial Day. It was raining. Dude, if you've never marched in a parade, those signs are like heavy. Man, my shoulder was hurting after that. Thank you, Something Original, for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Okay, so this is me at the New Hampshire State Democratic Convention on September 4th. Again, I'm like such a secret Republican, right? Here are my seats for the Democratic Convention. There I am, just to prove it's actually me. Horrible picture, but whatever. There's Pete Buttigieg at the convention. Listen, anyone who was surprised that Pete Buttigieg did well in New Hampshire, I'll tell you what, they really weren't paying attention. There's me with Marianne Williamson. There's me with these Warren, like, noise-making things. I never really supported Warren, but... Oh, wait. What's this? What's this? Oh, is that me with Elizabeth Warren? Oh, yes, it is. Now, I don't know how I managed to look shorter than her in this picture, but, like, she's a good 6 inches shorter than me. I'll tell you that. I had to like bend over. I never really supported Warren, but I was kind of like, just in case she becomes president, like I want to do the selfie with her, whatever. Another one of her events, me with a Buttigieg hat. So this is me. This was an accidental Buttigieg thing because this happened. I gave the keynote address at the South Bend Young Professional Association's annual conference in, October, at the beginning of October. On the same day, Pete Buttigieg happened to be holding his South Bend office opening in the area. It was like a couple blocks away, and so I got to see Pete Buttigieg again there. And that's enough, I think, political pictures. I think you can see I don't really have any more political pictures at this point because this is when I really started to question things. And so I just kind of wanted to share those with everyone so you can see, like, you can see I'm starting to get into the knitting wars stuff now on my Instagram. So that's, as much proof as I can give you for right this second that I am in fact not a grifter. I don't actually really care if people think I'm a grifter, like, whatever. What can I really do about it at the end of the day? But there's some proof there. Okay, so I just want to do a quick pause. I've talked a lot already. You guys are chatting away. This is fantastic. I just want to see, does anyone have any questions? And I have another topic to talk about as well, but I just want to do a quick pause. If you have questions, chat them in right now. Again, like, you don't ever feel pressured to give me money if you don't want to or you can't afford it. I want to make that very, very clear. But if you can, like, I do appreciate your support through Super Chat right now. I will be launching a Subscribe Star soon. And I'm humbled by the support when it comes. But also, if you Super Chat in, I'm like much more likely to see your question. All right. Okay, Better Synthesis asks Pete Buttigieg, why did I support him? I wanted a good moderate candidate. I always wanted a good, moderate candidate. And the thing of it is that really got my attention about Pete Buttigieg because I wasn't actually originally planning on supporting him. But then I went to that event that I took that selfie with him at. And you know, it was a panel event. It was about healthcare in New Hampshire. It was right after he announced his healthcare plan. And one of the things that got my attention was he talked the least of anyone on the panel. He listened more than anyone on the panel, and he was taking notes the entire time. He had this little notebook. He took pages of notes of things that people were saying as though he was really listening to them and really trying to synthesize all this information. Oh my gosh, Boy Svelte, thank you so much. What a great super chat. I really appreciate the support, my friend. And so it was after that panel that I started to pay more attention to Pete Buttigieg. And I was like, he's young, he's got energy, he's got pep, he's very smart. He is, if you never saw Pete Buttigieg, man, before he became Robot Pete, because there was a point, listen, in New Hampshire, we get to see the candidates for like a full year before anyone else. We're like very spoiled. Pete Buttigieg was not always Robot Pete. Okay? He really wasn't. There was a time when he acted more normal. And so, like, he is smart as a whip. He's very intelligent. He listens to people. He synthesizes their information. And you know what? The thing of it is that probably stood out to me more than anything is he's boring. Pete Buttigieg is like the most boring person on the planet. And I was like, I just want a president who's boring. I really do. I just want a president who's boring. I don't want someone that's going to be causing me stress every single day. And so that was how I kind of landed on Pete Buttigieg, is he was the one in the pack that I just felt most drawn to. And I would have loved for him to continue. I'm kind of pissed that he dropped out when he did. But I know that that was the DNC's doing. Okay, let's see. What other subjects will I cover this month? I'm really not sure. So Rocky asked that. Listen, I'm going to try to get into a more regular cadence with both the taped videos that I'm putting on YouTube, but then also the live stream videos. But the reality is that for my job, I actually travel quite a bit. I'm actually jumping on a flight tomorrow morning. I'm going out to Fresno, California to work with a team for their team retreat. And how cool is this, guys? Okay, so sidebar. This team is doing a team retreat and they're going to like this horseback riding ranch, right? They're all going to this like little ranch. I get to stay there too tomorrow night, and they're doing horseback riding as a team retreat, but then we're also doing like a 3-hour workshop where I'm going to teach them how to manage stress and different mindfulness techniques and stuff like that. So if anyone knows the Fresno area, please hit me up with some tips. Tell me where to go eat, stuff like that. But this is a long way of saying, like, I travel a lot for work, and sometimes I travel at weird times. And so I'm trying to figure out what is a good cadence of these live streams of tape stuff and what topics I'm going to cover. So right now it's kind of off the cuff. So just bear with me. Something Original asks, how have your fellow academics treated you since your new stance? The reality is I don't work at a college. I don't. And I have very limited contact with academics, so I don't really know, and I don't really care. BDM1 asks, what about Tulsi? The DNC has pushed her out the back door. Oh my gosh, guys. Can I just tell you, like, I almost voted for Tulsi in the New Hampshire primary. I really did. And part of the reason that I didn't is ultimately I thought Pete was a more realistic candidate overall. And that was what made me vote for him. But I was mad. I was so mad at what the Democrats did to Tulsi. I was enraged by it. I actually lost, and this was before my article came out. This is when they were doing the impeachment nonsense. I lost so many friends for saying I support Tulsi Gabbard's decision to vote present on impeachment. That was actually the first, well, not maybe the first, but like one of the big losses of friends that I had was when I supported Tulsi Gabbard, because I thought that her vote, first of all, I loved that she took a principled stance on it. Impeachment was ridiculous. Like, I don't understand how anyone could have supported that debacle. It was so, they didn't even charge him with a crime. Like, I mean, come on, like, but when she voted present, I was like, first of all, this does not affect your outcome at all. And you're destroying this woman's reputation because she did something that didn't affect the outcome at all, that you didn't agree with, that was really, for my walk away from the Democratic Party, that was one of the big nails in the coffin. Was they're running around talking about how, we need to support women and build women up and all this stuff. And then they do that to Tulsi. Are you kidding me? So yeah, that made me very, very mad. Messenger Emmett just says, would you consider viewing our candidates by studying their fixed natal star chart? So I am not the astrologer, but I work with an astrologer. Words I thought I would never admit on video. I do actually work with an astrologer, and I have actually on several occasions asked him about the charts of potential candidates. But here's the thing with spirituality. Oh, I wanted to say this when someone else was giving me grief for the astrology stuff. Listen, conservatives, you want people to embrace this. You do. You know why? Because it is all about personal empowerment and personal responsibility. That's what it is you identify these themes so that you can do what you can to take control of the situation you find yourself in. Like astrology and stuff, it doesn't work for people that want everything done for them. It works for people who are looking for guidance and are looking for direction and want to make sure they are taking advantage of every single opportunity. So you want people to be more woo-woo. You just don't know it yet. That's okay. I will convince you over time. Let me see. Okay, I'm like scrolling down the chat. I think I'm missing some stuff. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Okay. Rocky asks opinion on Tulsi. Oh, Rocky, thank you for the super chat. Curist asks abortion. Oh, yeah, Curist before the live stream, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's close enough, asked if I supported Ilhan Omar saying abortion is a constitutional right. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a constitutional expert, but abortion is legal because of the right to privacy, right? Now, I think where the Democrats have really gone off the rail on that is they're not treating abortion as like a private affair anymore. They're celebrating it. They're having whole rallies saying, I am celebrating my abortion. They've gone too far with it. I just think, I don't know. I don't know that I have a concrete opinion on that. I am pro-choice, but I am pro-choice within limits. I mean, and what the Democrats are doing, abortion is sad. And abortion is something that should never, ever, ever be celebrated. And I want women to have a safe option because it's going to happen anyway. And even if it's completely outlawed, and I want people to be safe, but like people are just being awful about it. Awful, awful, awful. Let me see. I think I have another super chat that I missed, and so I apologize. Avid11, thank you, Avid, for the super chat. Why not build men, Paul? I don't know what you mean by that. Amy, I'm not in favor of third trimester abortion. I am really not. And I know, listen, I know you're going to get, like, we're going to have a conversation. If I say I'm only for it in the first trimester with very specific exceptions for the health of the mother, you're going to say, well, Carlin, what about the first day of the second trimester? I get it, man. I get it. I really do. But that's my position on the subject. All right. I think I've got all the questions. Lulu says, please go on Tim Poole's podcast. I mean, Tim Poole's got to invite me on his podcast, man. Listen, for as many people are calling me like a grifter, I'm not out pimping myself for PR purposes. I'm really not. Like, I'm not contacting anyone. They're contacting me. And so if you guys want me on Tim Poole's podcast, go tell Tim Poole. I would love to be on Tim Poole's podcast. But I'm not gonna pimp myself out for it. If it happens, it happens. I think it'd be a great time. I'd love to like sit down and have a beer with the dude. I agree with a lot of what he says. I like him a lot. All right. Tim Poole says he wants me on his stream. Wait, did he really say that? Well, Jesus, if that's like actually real. Lulu, email him. Yes. Guys, hook me up. Jesus. That's funny. That's funny. That's actually a reasonably quick trip for me too. I think I know a roundabout where he is. SMU Johnson, SMU, thank you for the super chat. I do know who Mark Levin is. I know who he is. I haven't like watched him that much. Well, Brandon's been on like all the shows. Brandon, are you guys kidding me, Tim? Wow. Okay, Tim Poole, if you are actually wanting to contact me, reach out, man. Like, come on. Well, it'll be a fun time. Dude, I'm like not even hard to find. Jesus Christ. That's hilarious though. My husband covertly, like, he loves Tim Pool, and so he would like freak out if that happened. But the big thing for my husband is like Joe Rogan. He said to me, Carlin, like, so I think most of you know, maybe some of you don't, like, I'm going out to LA in a couple weeks to be on Dave Rubin's show. My husband's like, yeah, Carlin, that's cool, like, whatever, he doesn't really care. But he was like, if you ever go on Joe Rogan, I'm coming with you. And I was like, okay, Victor, relax. SMU, Tim Pool did cover my article. He did. So, you know, but who knows? Listen, again, I'm not going to pimp myself out. This is like, I mean, this is very cool for me. Like, these are people that I admire. These are people that, that I have learned so much from. And so, like, it's still, the whole thing's still a little surreal for me, but it's cool. All right, so let me see. I just want to go through my list of things. Oh, so I wanted to talk too about, and guys, please continue to send in the questions if you have them. I wanted to talk too about this other thing that came out today. We're gonna see, does the screen share work? Oh my God. Okay, so another thing that happened today. So does anyone here read Uncover DC? Do we have any fans? Because I'm actually really excited because I'm going to be writing for Uncover DC, covering different politics things that anything I want to talk about, really. And so I'm thrilled to have this platform to do it. And my first article just got posted today. It's called Dear Democrats, It's Time to Accept That You're Getting 4 More Years of Trump. Now, I know, the title is meant to kind of make people mad a little bit, like whatever, but I thought maybe I could talk through this because the reason that I wrote this article, it is not to convince people to vote for Donald Trump. It is absolutely not to convince people to vote for Donald Trump. I do not care who people vote for. I do not care. But what it is I am actually... Tell me if this resonates. I am actually genuinely terrified of what is going to happen if I'm going to say when, because I believe Trump's going to win again. I'm genuinely afraid of what is going to happen when Donald Trump wins again in November and the left is caught completely off guard because they didn't see it coming. That is actually a genuinely terrifying prospect for me because, I mean, listen, they've shown that they're willing to embrace the violence of Antifa. They've shown that they are absolutely willing to do whatever they need to do to cancel people. They've shown all these things. I'm like, they really don't see this coming. Like, the left really does not see this coming. They don't want to see it coming. And so I'm actually scared that, like Lulu says, like, all SJW hell is going to break loose. And so what I did is I wrote this article that I basically outlined my thought process because I started coming around to the idea that Donald Trump was probably going to win when I was still a Democrat and when I was still fully invested in being on like the Pete Buttigieg team. I really did. But I wanted to outline my thought process and the things that I was seeing that made me believe that Donald Trump was going to win again. And so I wrote this article. It is an open letter to Democrats. It starts off that says, even though we've had a nasty breakup, I still care about you and I want you to be happy, which is true. It is absolutely true. But I wanted to just talk about some of the things that are going on that I've seen. Now, when I originally started seeing this, of course, we had many more candidates in the field. Now we've whittled it down. It looks like it's almost definitely going to be Biden. Oh, God, I'm so mad about what they're doing to Biden. Just on like a human level. just on a human level. The man is obviously he's sunsetting. He absolutely is. And so I don't know how they're going to be able to hide this from the American people. I know they're going to try to hide Biden. They're already trying to get Bernie to like drop out of the race, right? To put their weight behind Biden. But I don't know how they're going to be able to hide this. People have seen this happen with their parents, their grandparents. I mean, it's just so obvious. And the stress of the campaign is not going to help him. And so this is the candidate that the Democrats are running. But even if it was Bernie, and I would have loved to see Bernie stick it to the DNC. As many issues as I have with Bernie, and I really do, I would have loved to see him stick it to the DNC. Michael says, thank you for another super chat, Michael. I really appreciate it. He says, what's your opinion of liberals? What's your opinion that liberals are goal-oriented versus conservatives are system-driven? Conservatives are more conservative or woo-woo. We are all also grifters. I think that's true. All conservatives are grifters, right? I think that that's actually probably generally true, that liberals are more goal-oriented and conservatives are more systems-driven. I think it's a little bit more complex than that, but I think that that's probably generally true. Tim, thank you, SMU. I appreciate the super chat. If you go on Ruben's show, you will get plenty of good people asking for you. If Mark Levine, I suck at names. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to everyone's name that I will ever pronounce wrong, but no one knows how to pronounce my name, and so, I feel kind of justified in that. I'll seriously consider anyone that asks me to be on their show. I can't always do it because I do actually run a business, but when I can do it, I definitely would consider it. These conversations are fun for me. I mean, this is like camp. Guys, this is like camp that just continues to keep going. All right, so my first thought process about the 2020 race was just looking at the candidates. I did not see anyone who I really thought could beat Donald Trump. Like, Marianne Williamson, listen, I love Marianne Williamson. I do. I think she's gotten a little bit bitter, but I genuinely love Marianne Williamson. And, one of the things that she said is, Deanie asked, can I proofread your Deanie, I found that typo as well. I know, I'm so mad. Grammarly has failed me yet again. Yeah, I know. Guys, one of the things you're going to learn about me is I suck as a proofreader. I do. So Deanie, I might hook you up, man. I might. So I didn't think the Democrats had anyone that could beat Trump. Trump is like a movement. Trump is larger than life. He knows how to inspire people. And you see this at the rally. Even if you don't like Trump, you can't help but be like, oh my God, he's so charismatic. Now, I have gotten in trouble with you guys for saying that I absolutely believe that Trump is a narcissist. I know I shouldn't diagnose people from a distance, but whatever, I'm breaking the rule. I fully acknowledge I'm being a hypocrite in this regard. But I absolutely believe Trump has narcissistic personality disorder. Now, the thing about narcissistic personality disorder, though, is I'm not using it as a pejorative. I'm not saying it makes him a bad, evil person. TGF, Buck, thank you. I am going on Dave Rubin in a couple weeks, and Tim Poole wants me on his show. You can reach out, man. So I don't say narcissistic personality disorder as a negative thing. It is just what it is. We all have things in life that challenge us. Everything can be both a strength and a weakness. Now, the strength of narcissistic personality disorder is, guess what, guys? Narcissists are charismatic. They are. They know how to draw people in. They are showmen. They know how to entertain. They know how to make themselves the center of the universe. Everything can be both a strength and a weakness. So I absolutely believe that Trump has that extra little thing that whether you like him or not, it draws people in. And I don't think the Democrats have a candidate that could beat him. The next thing that I looked at was that, listen, the Democrats are mad that Trump is pandering to the black voters. Well, guess what? It's working, and they're starting to come around. And, we're seeing several polls now where Trump's approval rating is hovering around over 1/3 of black voters are in favor, they approve of Trump. And, there's that rule that anytime you get over, if a Republican could get over 20% of the black vote, they'd be in trouble. I don't think Trump is going to get 20% of the black vote, but Trump, the black vote that Trump got last time was so low. What was it, around 8% or something? It was incredibly low. even if he just goes up a little bit, a little tiny bit, that's still going to be absolutely huge. Oh, socialism, I'm sorry I missed your super chat from earlier. Thank you for this one. I really appreciate it. Okay, so that was the next part of my thought process. It was like the black voters are coming around to Trump. Like, dude, the Democrats are like really in trouble there. Oh, Wilson says he's in Bedford. Wilson, I'm in Merrimack. I go to Orange Theory in Bedford. I'm in Bedford almost every day. So hello from right down the road. All right, the next part of my thought process and why I think that Trump is absolutely going to win is the economy. The economy's stupid. Honestly, like, Americans are doing better. They're doing better than they were last year. I had the best year ever for my business last year. And the Democrats kept trying to convince me, like, Carlin, that tax cut was really bad. Like, my husband got a $1,000 bonus after that tax cut. Like, I was doing well. And I felt guilty about, frankly, guys, like, the tax cut, like, my income runs through an LLC. Like, the tax cut really helped me out. And so, like, and I felt so guilty about it because, you know, people were so good at convincing Democrats that the tax cut was a horrible thing. But, you know, 59% of people say they were better off financially than they were last year. 74% of people said they're going to be even better. Now, what do Democrats say when you bring up the economy? What do they say? It's all Obama. It's Obama's doing. Trump just built on Obama. Well, guess what, guys? Trump has been in office for 3 years now, and a lot of people struggled under Obama. And once those people are starting to see their wages go up under Trump, who do you think they're going to give credit to? I'm not even saying about who I'm giving credit to. I'm kind of like, I think that there's really no way around giving Trump credit at this point, but because it's been like over 3 years. But you know, it just doesn't make sense. Now, you know, the market dropped 2,000 points yesterday, right? People are saying, coronavirus is going to kill us all. Listen, this is going to pass. This is going to pass. I really believe that. And I believe that when it does, everyone's going to look back on this hysteria and they're going to see what happened. I firmly believe, and the Democrats, man, like, they're making it so difficult to want to like them because I really think the Democrats are trying to create a GD recession in order to win an election. And they're using coronavirus to try to create a recession. I'm a small business owner. I do not want there to be a recession. A recession would be very bad. No, 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 no. So that's the other thing. And then the last thing is I really just think the Democrats are their own worst enemy. The Democrats managed to screw up like every single thing. It is absolutely absurd. I think they absolutely bungled impeachment. Listen, like, I was in favor of impeachment when the whole thing started. I was in favor. I was like so happy when Nancy Pelosi finally decided to impeach him. I was like, yeah, show's started. I was like ready to go. And then they bungled it over and over and over and over again. I was like, what are you doing? This is only going to help Trump. And so what do we see is the public was in favor of impeachment first, and then they weren't in favor of impeachment for, you know, I think that, you know, it basically flip-flopped. It started helping Trump. His approval went up. Nancy Pelosi acted like a crazy person and tore up the State of the Union on live TV when the State of the Union was like an awesome, uplifting speech. It was really, really good. And I'm just like, man, like, do the Democrats even want to win? Do they even want to win? And this was probably, impeachment was probably like the real final nail in the coffin for me in terms of walking away. I was like, you guys don't even care. You don't even want to win. Like, why should I support you? Why should I continue to give money to Democratic candidates when you don't want to win? You are doing nothing that tells me that you want to win. So that was my basic thought process for why I thought that Trump was always going to win. And so I basically outlined that in this article. If you want to read the full thing, it is up right now on uncoverdc.com. And I hope you enjoy it. All right, let me come back. All right, folks. That was really all I wanted to talk about today, but I'll hang out for a couple more minutes if you guys have any other questions. Oh my gosh, over 300 viewers. Thank you guys so much for coming to this. Listen, I guess maybe a question I can ask you because I am getting my Subscribe Star ready to launch. And so again, there's like no way other than super chat right now to support me if you want to. No pressure. I will never, whatever. If you can, if you want to, fine. If you don't want to, that's fine too. But what types of benefits would be appealing to you guys from Subscribestar? What types of things are you looking for? Because I'm going to set up different tiers and I want to provide different benefits for different tiers. But maybe you could just chat in and tell me what you want, because, I want to do stuff that you guys are looking for and you guys like. GB asked, did you see about the video on Twitter? Guy asked Biden about the job market. Yes. Oh my God. So this is the video of the guy who asked, is this the video of the guy who Biden said was like full of S? And I'm not going to swear because I don't want to get dinged. Maybe we're thinking of different videos. Like the guy said, you're going to take away my guns. Biden says you're full of S. And there was like, and then Biden shushes the woman that like his handler. Like, listen, man, if Trump did that, it would be game over. I just think it's sad. Listen, I genuinely think that the stuff with Biden is really, really sad. And I think that it is absolutely irresponsible what the Democratic Party is doing. It is, like, listen, I know a lot of you have feelings about Biden. I really do. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't go after his policies or like attack his positions. He's put himself in a presidential race. You should actually do those things. But I think what I would ask is like, try to be a little gentle on the personal attacks if you can, because I just think he's not all there. I really don't. And, go after whoever he nominates as VP, fine. But I just find the whole thing heartbreaking. Oh my gosh, $5 from Singapore. Thank you. I have no idea. Chicken. I have no idea how to pronounce your name. I'm not going to butcher it, but I really appreciate it. Okay. Let's see. Scrolling through the chat. Knitted gifts. Ooh, that's a good idea. It takes me a long time to knit something, but maybe I could do special knitted gift bonus. Boyce asks, can I do an intervention with your 57-year-old liberal daughter? Okay, so listen, this is actually a question that I've been asked. So listen, if you guys have people that have Trump Derangement Syndrome, just like I did, you cannot force them to change. You cannot force them to change. You can only be there to have that positive relationship with them, to have conversations. And honestly, the best thing that you can do, and I'll probably do a full video on this at some point, is just talk to them. Talk to them without judgment. Talk to them without trying to convince them that they're wrong. This is where so many of these conversations come awry, because they become about convincing people that they're wrong. And that's not going to change anyone's mind. So just talk to them, understand why they believe what they believe. I firmly believe that if people see the side of the conservative community that I've seen, listen, y'all look great when you're comparing them to the SJW crazies on the left. I promise you, it's a breath of fresh air. It's fun. It's invigorating. The SJWs have no sense of humor. You guys do have a sense of humor. It is a much more pleasant place to be. Allow people to see that, and they might start to come around. And if they do start to come around, make space for them to come around. Nova, thank you for the $5 super chat. Let's see what question you have. What do you think about the idea that they'd rather burn down the party than allow a socialist through? Yeah, I absolutely think that's true. Listen, they mobilized everything to stop Bernie. They mobilized everything to stop him. Like, I absolutely believe that's true. I hate it. I wish Bernie could figure out a way to stick it to them, but it is what it is at this point. Let's see. All right, I'm not seeing any other questions, I don't think. I'm sorry if I missed your question, guys. It's just a lot. Oh, Lulu asked, do you think the DNC is also pushing Biden to cover for Ukraine shenanigans? It provides a shield at least until after the election. I mean, maybe. I think they're pushing Biden because they have truly convinced themselves that he can beat Trump. And I don't think they're right about that, but we'll see. Krista says, I'm completely ignorant. Thank you, Krista. Whatever. Man, listen, I'm not a professional politician. I stumbled into this. You guys can call me grifter all you want, but like this was like the least. Uh-oh. Okay, it says I'm getting an error message from the screen, but listen, maybe I'll just end here. Like, if I'm a grifter, this is like the least well planned grift of like all time, man. I'll tell you what. Like, come on. Um, Thomas. Oh, Thomas is here. Hi, Thomas. Can you do something to help people like me become better writers? Thomas, if you want to become a better writer, just write. Just write. Like, that's how to do it. How it works for me is I write like I talk. And so, uh-oh. Okay, it's back. So, I mean, just write. The more you write, the better you're going to be. James asks, Australian here. Do you think Americans know the influence they have on other politics? No, James, I don't think most Americans have any idea. I don't. I could be wrong, but I don't. Okay. Da, da, da. SMU asks, I liked what you said about Shapiro, that you can disagree on politics. Have you given Jordan Peterson a second look in the same vein? I've never disliked Jordan Peterson. I like Jordan Peterson a lot. I think Jordan Peterson has really valuable things to say, and I hope that, I don't know what his status is, but I hope he recovers well. Okay, guys, I'm getting some error messages over here, and listen, I've been talking for about an hour anyway, but listen, thank you so much for coming to the live stream today. I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit. I so appreciate all the super chats again. I so appreciate the support. I will be doing more of these. I will be getting my stuff together and putting more infrastructure around this all. And yeah, I will see what I can do for a chat next week. And hopefully we can continue, and hopefully I see you again. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great rest of your day.